Hello, I'm John Comegys, and I'm here today to talk about the Autism Job Club by AASCEND. First of all, I'll introduce myself. Comegys rhymes with rummages, except in Philadelphia, where it is pronounced Comegys. I am a certified vocational rehabilitation counselor with 20 years experience. I have a master's degree in rehabilitation counseling. I have advanced training in autism, specifically a multidisciplinary leadership in autism certificate from Fresno Pacific University. I was a special education teacher for about 5 years, a little more. I was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder about 5 years ago. I'm past president of the National Rehabilitation Counseling Association. I facilitated the Sacramento Autism Spectrum Information and Support Job Club and its successor, Autism Vocations Job Club, for about 5 years. And for the past 2.5 years, I've facilitated the Autism Job Club by AASCEND. The Autism Job Club has various components. It's a nonprofit. It has an unpaid volunteer staff. There are 5 meetings per month. There is a large group meeting face-to-face in San Francisco. Meets usually on the first Saturday. It has group speakers. Everybody is welcome, parents, people on the spectrum, and it has a small group for neurodiverse people targeted for autism, occasionally attended by parents or loved ones. The weekly online meeting is facilitated by Keith Halperin on Monday nights. He performs a check on progress and does one-on-one work with a small group. The large group meets for about an hour and a half in San Francisco on Saturday mornings and has information-rich speakers who cover topics such as job search strategies, employment opportunities. It includes industry experts, community resources, success stories, and representatives from the various Bay Area high-tech companies. The small group, which meets for 1 hour, has assistance, one-on-one assistance from San Francisco State volunteers. They cover such things as job placement skills, practice interviews, elevator speeches, networking, and so on. It includes social skills training, social skill error repair and relationship recovery was one particularly good topic, emotional regulation, eye contact, staring awareness, how to shake a brain freeze, social behavior mapping, self-advocacy, such as when to disclose or not disclose your disability, asking for accommodations on the job interview or on the job, asking for job modifications, and self-advocacy regarding sensory issues. Community resources referrals are covered in the small group, especially with the Department of Vocational Rehabilitation, community service agencies, and employers, public and private. The weekly online meetings are conducted for one-to-one work. The facilitator will check on the progress and teach self-advocacy. Group support and problem solving is part of it. The facilitator and the members will help each other with networking, vocational exploration, placement, and job retention support. Let me emphasize that that's a particularly difficult and necessary thing that we do. It's the easy part is getting the job. The hard part is keeping the job. So that's an absolutely essential part of what the job club does. There's also homework assignments. Everybody leaves knowing what to do for the next week. and we check on that. We don't give grades or gold stars, but we do check. The one-on-one work includes things that the facilitator will do, that I do. I'm not sure how much of this Keith does. I don't know how he could avoid it, but I'm not sure how much he does. I'll have to ask him. That includes taking a detailed work history. I'm sure he does that. Conducting vocational exploration, looking at what kind of jobs are available and matching the person to the job. Resume development, job placement, and employment retention support. Once again, the emphasis is on self-advocacy, analysis, and problem-solving, practice presentations. The Autism Job Club methodology, and that's what I developed in Sacramento and I used in San Francisco, is provided in the small group at online meetings and additional services. All services are person-centered. We don't start with a format. We don't have a curriculum. I don't. All services are individualized and based on need. I do this because it is ethically required by my profession of vocational rehab counselor, and because rehabilitation counselors by law who provide vocational rehabilitation services are required to do this. If you think about autism, this will be abundantly clear that every single person on the spectrum is very different. And so the approach and what we do and how we do it must be individualized. All services are research-based. I follow best practices, and they are effective. The placement rate for the last 2.5 years, placement rate for the last 2.5 years, AASCEND Job Club by AASCEND, Autism Job Club by AASCEND, for all attendees, that's for everybody who ever showed up even once, the placement rate is 20%. For those who attended the one-on-one weekly meetings online, the placement rate was 68%. And for those who had average attendance or better, the placement rate was 86%. To give you a contrast, for those who only attended the monthly meetings, the placement rate was 0.6%. That's 0.6%. In other words, if you expect to be placed, you must participate weekly and avail yourself of the one-on-one services that the Job Club provides. The competitive integrated employment rate was 73%. What that means is that 73% of the jobs that people got from while participating in the Job Club were competitive. That means they're integrated, they're in the community, it's a regular job with a regular paycheck, it's not a sheltered workshop, it's not make work, it's a real job. So competitive and integrated employment, 73%. Full-time, 60% of the jobs secured were full-time, and part-time were 40%. The wages ranged from $10 an hour for some of the members who are not living in San Francisco, where the minimum wage I think is $12.50 right now, although it may have gone up. They range from $10 to $32.50 per hour, and the average was $19.72 per hour. That's for full-time work. The 26% of the jobs that were secured were professional. These include, actually, I'm not going to name them because of confidentiality, but these are jobs that are licensed by the state and that are professional, white-collar, responsible positions. 26% were in the service industry, and 40% are unskilled. And these numbers will not add up because we had more than one placement for some individuals. 27% of the people secured paid internship training. Okay, so everybody who applied, everybody who attended on a regular basis, either got a paid job or they got a paid internship. So that's a matter of some success. Challenges. The real challenges are the stereotypes and the stereotypes in service providers' systems. The usual agencies that work with people with developmental disabilities tend to track people with developmental disabilities such as autism. And so you end up with an amazing lack of diversity with people getting the same old jobs. And another challenge is the lack of services. Once you hit age 22, services are available based on eligibility, and they're not mandated like school. When you're in school, the services are provided no matter what, legally. And after that, it's strictly, are you eligible? Can you participate? Can you benefit? And for example, if the Department of Rehabilitation really doesn't think that you can work full time, they're probably not going to provide services. The same goes with other agencies. One of the biggest problems is stigma, and the high functioning autistic people with autism are less likely to be forgiven for social faux pas, for not understanding, and or for high anxiety, than those who are more visibly disabled. If you have questions, I invite you to send them to me at John. My email is john@autismvocations.com. I welcome comments, questions, whatever you'd like to send. Thank you very much.